Great evening, everyone. I need the whole medical industry to go look up iatrogenic disease. It is a health condition caused unintentionally by medical treatment procedures or healthcare provider actions. An iatrogenic disease refers to any illness, injury, or adverse condition that arises directly from medical intervention rather than from the patient's underlying disease. The term originates from the word iatros, which means healer, and genesis, which means origin, meaning brought forth by a healer. These conditions can result from both errors and unavoidable side effects of necessary treatments. This is AI's definition of iatrogenic disease. And most of the time it's caused by medication-induced conditions, from adverse drug reactions, allergic responses, drug interactions, and side effects. Another form of iatrogenic disease is surgical complications, unintended injuries, infections, postoperative issues arising from surgical procedures, healthcare associated infections acquired in medical settings due to inadequate infection control, diagnostics error, incorrect or delayed diagnosis leading to inappropriate treatment or disease progression. That's what I think a lot of it is. It's iatrogenic disease. Another one is radiation or procedural injury, tissue damage from radiation therapy, imaging, or invasive procedures, medical device related issues, complications from catheters, implants, or other devices. The main cause for dis-ease is nutrition, malnutrition, what you put in your body, and iatrogenic disease. I believe that because it's the side effects from the pharmaceutical industries. The doctors don't learn how to the doctors don't learn how to treat disease or cure. They learn how to diagnose, treat, perform procedures, prescribe. That's what they do. They don't actually learn the elements, the body, all that. The way the sun, moon, and the stars and the planets work in accordance with each organ system and different plants. They don't understand none of the actual underlying causes of disease and health issues. They just know Western medicine, this post-Rockefeller, less than 125, 130 years old. What was it? 1908 was the Flexner report. Something like that. And they changed everything. They got you thinking that abortion is healthcare. But anyway, iatrogenic disease is what causes all the illnesses, all the deaths. People are, first thing you go to a doctor, they ask you, what drugs are you prescribed? And they're, surprised if you're not prescribed any pharmaceutical drugs. I don't take any pharmaceutical drugs. Why not? Because I don't want to deal with any side effects, Makes no sense that these doctors are literally like slaves for pharmaceutical companies. And now they want to make AI with biomedical companies introducing AI with pharmaceutical technician. You just sound like Bill Gates, dude. Why would you want that in the medical industry? You want to add more heliocentrism, more people who are against the immune system, brought forth by a healer. First, do no harm. You violated the first law of Hippocrates. You are iatrogenic doctors. That's what you guys do. You guys figure it maybe you don't even know you're doing it. You believe in what you're being taught, but it's all garbage. You're not learning about the human immune system. You're just learning about the first thing. Most of the time, I remember when I used to go to doctors, they would basically don't even look you in the face. They're just listening for what drug they can prescribe for that symptom. They never address any health issues. They just want to give you a drug, and then they'll ask you, like, are you having any side effects? And then they wait for you to say what side effect. They're like, all right, here's another drug for that side effect. Trust me. I've been through the VA system, and I took their medication one time. And it was like so many, I was like almost 35 pills in one day I took. And then I did that for 2 days, and I was like, fuck this. And I stopped doing all that, and I just basically went cold turkey. I know that this medical system needs to learn about real nutrition, not the policies that the FDA and the USDA make. That's not nutrition. When I went to nutrition school, they make you learn all the government agencies' policies and call that nutrition. No, that's the opposite of nutrition. I dropped out. I had a full scholarship. It was making me sick, literally giving me seizures, learning how you guys use the use everything in vain, including medicine. I was supposed to be a doctor at Ohio State for nutrition. Learned that it was opposite of nutrition. It was just learning what guidelines and what policies and what agencies and what this and what that. It's like, what the hell? This is not medicine. This is not nutrition. But yeah, iatrogenic disease. That's what everyone should be learning about, because that's the problem. Investing in pharmaceutical companies and more student debt for doctors who don't even know how to treat any condition. They just know how to prescribe drugs. That's wrong. You guys are all wrong. You need to learn about the human immune system, about grounding and balancing the energy in the body, learning how to eliminate inflammation through balance in the body with the earth's energy, getting out of an acidic environment and a high oxygen environment, becoming more alkaline, boosting the immune system. You can learn so much from real medicine. Why did we create a Western medical system? I'll tell you why. It's because of the Fourth Reich, the medical system, the Western medical system. Go buy this book and go read it. Modern myths of the monumental myths of the modern medical mafia and the mainstream media, and the multitude of lying liars that manufactured them, by Ty Bollinger. And there's a couple other, forward by John B. Wells and preface by Mike Adams. But go listen to this book, go read this book, and it explains Rockefeller. They started closing down all the natural herbal colleges, and they made a new petrochemical, pharmaceutical industrial complex based off of the war chemicals that were left over from IG Farben. They turned same types of chemicals that were used in extermination chambers into chemotherapy, and they call it oncology. Like, it's crazy. We went from genocide to eugenics. They created a eugenics medical system. They got you all confident in these con men. They call them doctors. Forgive me, not all of them know what they're doing, but they should. If they're taking oaths, they should know. They're just in so much debt going to medical school that they have to pay off that debt. And how do you pay off that debt? You get your incentives from selling drugs. You know what I mean? Any drug dealer is going to get a bonus when they sell enough drugs. It's just how it works. You get a promotion. Oh, you're starting to sell this much? Come on down. Da-da-da-da-da. Those are drug dealers. They're the opposite of the medical industry. And it's led to iatrogenic disease. And the foundation comes from Rockefeller when they started closing the colleges, started making petrochemical medicine. They wrote the Flexner Report, then just been lying to you. And then later on they created NASA and got you guys believing that you're living in a cartoon fantasy land, separated from all of creation, when all you have to do is look up. All you have to do, especially I'm learning medical astrology and medical or astrological herbalism, vitalist herbal practitioner is what I'm learning. It's really difficult, but I'm noticing the patterns. I have been noticing the patterns. And it's just my stubbornness and my OCD with this trying to, because it proves to me creation way more. I understand. Oh, now I'm starting to understand certain parts of the clock and what they do and different energies and the different polarities of the signs. Not heliocentrism, because most of these, not most of them, a lot of medical astrology and medical astrological herbalism and Western herbalism and stuff like that, like they still believe in heliocentrism. They still believe that the sun is in a solar system traveling away from creation, but they use a creation clock. They use what creation, like, you can't observe that if you're lost trolling spinning anywhere. So, long story short, go learn why people are sick. It's because of iatrogenic disease. It's because you guys are fighting the immune system instead of trying to boost the immune system. You guys have globalists with their agendas who are against the immune system. This book right here can explain it way better than I ever could. I wasn't even thinking about this book when I was making this video. I was just thinking about this. This was supposed to be a short, but it led to this 10, 12-minute video. So yeah. I want Ohio to be the example for real medicine. You know, we have all these cancer research institutes and all these new hospitals being built to treat iatrogenic disease. Like, the body is not supposed to have any radiation or chemotherapy that destroys the human immune system. That's the most toxic, most damaging thing to the body. There's antioxidants and nutrient-rich foods and certain herbs, lots of herbs that are in correspondence to each organ system, the affinities, the actions, all that stuff that needs to happen and that I need to learn for the organs and the plants and the planet and the way the immune system works to get you back in balance so you can be in homeostasis, so that way your body can heal itself. Neurogenesis. But you guys are too busy with your profit industry, violating the iatrogenic disease is the number one cause of every iatrogenic disease, and it violates the first law. The name, brought forth by healer. First, do no harm. Think about that. I would say it would make Hippocrates very angry to know that you guys pretend and you guys swear his oath and you butchered it. You made your own version of it. So that way you can feel special and get away with all your manipulation. But yeah, it's not the actual doctors, it's the control behind them. Some of them do become corrupt and just become great drug dealers for pharmaceutical companies. But the ones who are actually there to heal, who get sucked into medical debt and can never pay off their debt, and then they get sucked into a system, I pray that they can, like, if you're really going to heal people, you know, I pray that they can learn that. Maybe their medical debt can be erased. Supposedly there's going to be lots of people's debts have been being erased. College debts, credit debt, It'd be nice for real healers that, you know, that got sucked into a system. Let them learn real medicine and practice it. Why not? That's what should happen. Instead of paying off these pharmaceutical companies. And pharmaceutical companies, what do? They do their research for 6 months. They get a drug passed. They don't research it after that. And then they already know it's going to cause all kinds of side effects. And they just put down like maybe 1% of the money that they know that they're going to make into their lawsuits and paying for settlements, because they don't care about anyone. They just know, like, hey, we're going to make a shit ton of money off of this new drug. Let's do it. So hopefully that all gets exposed and it stops, gets eliminated, and people start learning, hey, why don't we make real medicine? using alchemy and spagyrics and the ground, real medicine that comes from the ground, and not just synthesizing it, learning the old style of medicine and how to use it, when to use it, instead of just giving everyone a frickin' costume, white button-up coat and calling them a doctor and getting them in debt. That's the problem. The college freaking conspiracy. Give everyone a college degree. The only ones that get jobs are the ones that are obedient, can stay in their little system. Makes no sense. I wish colleges were actual higher learning, where they didn't indoctrinate people. Like, this should be required for all college. And then you can pick what major you want. You know what I mean? You learn how the world really works, and then you go fix it. You know what I mean? You just want to participate in a globalist agenda. It shouldn't exist. How do you solve problems? You get rid of the problem. You don't put Band-Aid on it. I'm going to put a Band-Aid on this problem. No, we're going to get rid of the problem. In a holistic way. That's what they don't know. They just know money and profits. Please go do your research. Please go understand how this world and how this medical system and how our false history and the false reality you live in. You think if you still believe that you're lost in space and live in a NASA cartoon world, that's blasphemy. That goes against the Bible. That is straight blasphemy. You can read in the Bible more than 200 times that glorifies God's creation. We are fixed, immovable. There's more than 200 references in the Bible that proves God creation. So we should learn what God wants us to do, and then we can make this place way better. And yeah, go vote for Casey Putsch and Kim Georgeton, because we don't want no more biopharmaceutical, biotech billionaire, George Soros funded junior world economic puppies that get their scholarships from George Soros and, they're skull and bone type people. Just rich billionaires only know how to talk to CEOs and executives, don't care about actual people and actual farmers and actual families. Vivek Ramaswamy, you shouldn't vote for him. I don't understand why. Well, I understand why. It's because him and, what's his name? J.D. Vance, they've been going to college together for a long time. They've been planning this for a long time. But we don't want that in Ohio. Why do you want more pharmaceutical companies? So you can prescribe more drugs and create more side effects? First of all, you're going to create drugs that cause side effects. That way you can sell more drugs. It's like using a credit card to pay off credit card debt. You guys are all wrong. Vote for Casey Putsch. He's an inventor. He makes watches, race cars, airplanes. He has a school. His students, they all come on scholarship and they all work for major corporations. SpaceX, Lockheed Martin. He has a car that gets 106 miles to the gallon, runs on diesel. If you guys really cared about America and our healthcare and our people and our representatives, you would listen to me and you would understand what I'm saying and you would agree with me unless something's wrong with you. Unless you don't like people, you don't like healthcare, real healthcare. Creating diseases and creating drugs for them is not healthcare. The Center for Disease Control and Creation and Control is what it was called originally. Center for Disease Control now. That's all bullshit. Anti-immune system. That's an oxymoron. Anti-immune system. Doesn't even sound right. The immune system, like I said, is the second most powerful system next to the creation of the cosmos, because when God created the cosmos and he made everything in its likeness. That's how we get our time, days, everything. So our immune system, I would say, is probably the second most powerful system known to man. And that's why these haters are trying to destroy it. Trying to. Were trying to. They were trying to. They tried. We need to forget about them and funding them and their stocks and their propaganda and their news reports and their World Health Organization. Like, all these agencies that don't care about our immune system should not even be valid. They should be bankrupt and out of existence. You're using the name in vain, pretending like you care about the human immune system, but you are the cause of iatrogenic disease. I went to school for nutrition. Learning about all of you people's policies is what causes iatrogenic disease. It's blames on you guys. So you guys need to fix it, or we can get rid of you. Like, you should not be recognized. I will never go to a doctor unless, like, I had a freaking infection from a laceration or a gunshot wound or something. Maybe I would go to the hospital, but just go to the hospital and let some doctor wrench on me? Hell no. Freaking bunch of mechanics. Doctors are worse than mechanics. Human mechanics. Not all of them. The ones who are good healers, that's why I love healers and practitioners and stuff like that. But just some doctor who's in debt, working off his debt, I don't trust it. We need to fix this whole system. Have a wonderful day.